It's time for the Ghostfire Media Network podcast show, featuring the stars of Iracing's IVRL and the AOLL. Now, here's your host, the Ghostfire Media Network crew.
Years ago, and then a Go XLR to drive it, so it makes it really nice because it boosts something that's super cheap and makes it sound pretty good.
Yeah, the big thing is I unfortunately, one of my good friends and actually my boss used to be a professional audio engineer, so this headset came from his old company, and it's actually what Fox uses in the broadcast. If I really wanted to, I could bust out the professional studio mic, but this is a whole lot more comfortable.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, having a really good mic. I got to get that little bleep button set up here. It'd probably help.
Especially with me. Especially with me around. When I'm here, you need like 5 bleep buttons, and you just need them on a repeat.
When you just get that automatic dump button going. All right. Well.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to our wonderful podcast. Here we're on episode number 24. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what you do for a living. If you have any sim experience outside of Fuel, and do you have any outside racing experience outside of the sim community as a whole?
Yeah, so I'm Eric Wineland, by the way. Nice to meet everyone out there that's listening. Thank you guys for having me on, first of all. I know we tried to line this up last week, but one of my jobs is I work as a operator of basically tracking technology at a minor league ballpark. I track a baseball game, all the players on the field, all the objects on the field, so basically the ball. And I have to model it in computer software, make sure it looks good, and then they use that for data for player evaluation down the road. So things like player speeds, throw speeds, reaction timings, did they take an efficient path to the ball, and everything like that. So that's probably the cooler of my tool jobs, but
you mean all the stuff that Billy Bean was like, we're gonna fight about this if we don't start using these?
Absolutely. You know, that whole Moneyball sequence was way before its time, but it was pretty cool. That's one of the things that got me interested in what I got my degree in. So I graduated 2019 with a Bachelor of Science from Penn State in computer science. So just haven't found the career job yet because not too far after I got out, a giant pandemic swept over the world. So that leads me.
I've never heard of it.
It leads me to my other job, which is just working retail at Staples. I'm a tech sales associate, so I know a lot of my tech. So that's why I got such a nice, like, pretty cool stream setup because I put time in, did the research, and the money too. As far as sim experience, I've joined Iracing January 31st, 2019. I remember that date because I remember that date for a couple reasons, but basically I was already a console racer and league racing on console, and I decided that I wanted to like move it up a notch. I'd just gotten a wheel for my Christmas present of that year, or that past Christmas, so I finally decided to take the dive and get into it. And then beyond that, just I've done quite a bit of league racing, a lot of interest in like 100% races. So I used to be a part of a league called the Galaxy Cup Series, which ran 100% cup races, which was pretty wild. And I won in my first appearance there. Full open setups and everything. I mean, the whole works. And then I did Road to Pro this year. First time really trying my hand at it. I was kind of doing it myself. Didn't really have too much in the way of like help in terms of setup shop. I had some old sets from a friend who was on a team last season that they had run Road to Pro. And beyond that, finished 85th in the first round, so we missed it just by 15 spots, but I was pretty hyped because it was just a great time.
So what we see that you obviously have the streaming setup. We'll allow you to give the shameless plug for your stream here.
Yeah, so if you're on Twitch, look up Lucky We Are, all one word. I pretty much stream Twitch on occasion, mostly consistently Monday nights for Fuel, of course. When you guys are doing the race broadcast, I got my in-car. So if anyone ever wants to see that, that's pretty much the extent of that. Other streams, usually Iracing. I play a little bit of Squad. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game. It's kind of
underrated.
Yeah, kind of a cross between and Arma. And then what I'm playing right now, as you guys see me look at my other monitor here, Destiny 2. I've sunk a ton of time into Destiny. And
I literally just got back into Destiny 2 about 2 weeks ago because a friend of mine, it's pretty much the only game outside of Mario Kart he'll play with us online. And it just works out perfectly.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to follow there, Lucky We Are on Twitch. No other really handles to follow unless you want to look up my name on Twitter, but there's nothing great on my Twitter other than a lot of likes and retweets of anything sports. So
I got you, man. So how long have you been racing with Fuel?
This is my first season in Fuel. So I became real good friends with Delonta Ballard. as you guys have seen, we are on the same team, VRA, and he kind of he and a couple of buddies of his on the VRA team kind of roped me into doing this. I'm not normally a fixed series racer. I like my open setups just because I like sinking the time into it, even if I don't get a huge reward at the other end of it. So he brought me in, and I mean, first race we finished P4 with a chance to win. Was pretty hyped. So I was like, okay, I'll stick this out. Sportsman was a fun time. I was battling for the championship there with Danny Ware, and that kind of cemented as like, okay, this is pretty cool. I'll give this a shot, see what it's like. I've never really run the B car, let alone running anything fixed, and so far I've really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm a big fan of the fixed personally, just because you're going to win based on skill and skill level rather than I have the time to put in to make a good setup and I have a setup that's perfect for me. Whereas I guarantee your setups for me would probably make me 2 seconds worse.
That's the thing, right? Do you drive a car loose? Do you drive a car tight? I like to live on the edge, to quote Steven Tyler there. But and all in all, I mean, I like having a little more control of it. Like, if the track is suddenly taking a crap ton of heat and the rubber's really slick, like I know what to do to make an adjustment, not just adjusting my line, maybe a cooler part of the track, but like being able to crank on that wedge a little bit, change it up, and get into a position where I can feel comfortable again.
I think that's the hardest thing I had when I transferred from console to iRacing was on console, everybody starts with the exact same setup, but once you make that first green flag pit stop or whatever pit stop you had, you can change the air pressure, you can change the wedge in the car. You're able to do those little nuances to be able to see, make your car drive better, but everybody started with that same fixed setup. So I kind of like that aspect of it. And whenever I came into iRacing, I think that was kind of the hardest lesson of break me, was that I wasn't able to fix that type of thing in car. I think that we should still be able to start with a fixed setup, but once we go underneath pit road, I should be able to add more tape, or I should be able to crank the wedge a little bit. I think those are the things that should be added to it. But yeah, I tried my best to try to do these open setups, and I just don't understand anything about it. So I'm not putting my time and effort into it. I like these fixed run leagues.
Well, Adam, I don't know if iRacing was listening to your thoughts or not, but I know they've talked about implementing something like that in the early part of next year.
I will be the first to say, running Indy, any of those fixed setups, the fact that I can't change the weight jacker drives me nuts.
Absolutely. I would love to see them make a change like that. I don't think they will, for the sheer fact of what you talked about, how it fixed is that place to go when you don't have time to sink into it, when you just want to drive based off pure skill. And as much as I would love to see him open up those adjustments, I feel like, I mean, at the core heart, we still play a game, a version of a game, right? There's always going to be a way to exploit things. I mean, the people that put in so much time that get to the top by figuring out, I mean, there used to be a thing out there when I first started about jacking the rear end. When the high downforce package came out, it was jack the rear end all the way up in the air, 8 inches on the ride height. And it didn't matter if it was all the way up. It really wasn't going to slow you down that bad. You just needed to use that to have the best long run pace. It made sense physically, but it was one of those things, like, it's not totally realistic per se. Of course, they have all those broadcasts, NBC, Fox highlighted how there was a difference between guys that were trimmed out versus packed for high downforce, and we got a little bit of that. But I only joined iRacing, like I said, in 2019, and I had that small glimmer of dynamic track, low downforce package for about 4 weeks.
I mean, everybody's got wish lists. I think the biggest wish list, I know me personally, is I don't run in 100% cup leagues or any 100% leagues. And I hate having the only way to test a league setup or a league anything is to either put up a server or try to find, hopefully that track and car combination is an AI race. I know we as the AOLL league went underneath the iRacing forums and requested and commented and bumped that request up because every other like IMSA cars, they have ways you can change the fuel load for qualifying laps and all that good stuff. So I think the Cups cars, the trucks, the Xfinity, ARCA should be able to adjust the fuel loads when you go out there and driving out on fresh tires. You'll have the correct fuel load for the league race you're running, because not every league race starts with 100% fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I really am excited for the new damage model when it finally gets here, because I having run it in ARCA when we did Sportsman, there's some pretty cool things that are nice about it, and then there's still some really wonky stuff. One of those 100% Cup Series races I did last year in a league, when they temporarily enabled the new damage model on the Cup cars, right? We were at Michigan, and I was trying to. We were only like lap 5 or something like that. Just trying to push another guy who was really fast in the league. We wanted to get out front, down the front stretch, and I got bumper hooked to him and thrown to the inside wall down the front stretch and shot back out into the field. It was the wildest thing, but it was one of those. It has to stand because it's a league event, and that new damage model got subsequently disabled pretty quickly back last year.
At least you never got to deal with the ARCAs and the front end issue to where you can just ghost through the rear bumper to where by the time you're actually hitting something solid, you've got them wedged up in the air and there's no hope of them surviving.
Quite a bit of experience doing that too much at Daytona. Let's just leave that there.
So on to fuel conversation here. You are currently sitting in third without a win. What are you gonna attribute that to?
Luck is definitely part, or luck is definitely something always on my side. That's kind of where I get the nickname from. But no, we had a chance this week at Kansas, right? And I just went out there and I made a mistake. I knew I needed to keep my teammate behind me at that point in the race, so I was just going as hard as I could to try to make it hard. And I had just that one bad 3 and 4 where it got a little loose, and I wanted to open the wheel up to try to not make it near as bad. And when I did that, I hit the wall. So yeah, that probably killed our chance that week, at least. The rest of them, I mean, Daytona is the wild card that it is, right? We managed to get ourselves to the right place at the right time, but I wish the fixed set didn't have 0% tape, because I feel like I could have done a lot better at that point, side drafting, especially on the lanes. But the rest of them, I mean, we've been to USA, North Wilkesboro. I'm never really good at short tracks. I managed to survive pretty well. That's pretty much my key there.
I think that's just about everyone at USA.
Yeah. And then I forget what's been our other.
Homestead.
Homestead,
Sebring.
yeah.
And Sebring.
Sebring was an interesting one. I am not a big road racer in general, but specifically in the stock cars, I just can't figure it out. I can't get that one last thing I need to quite figure it all out. So road courses, we're gonna leave that as a wash. Homestead, I think we were running okay. We had a little bit of contact, I think, toward the end, but it's Cameron Hearn just took us to school. I didn't have a great line compared to what Cam could do. And by the time I kind of figured it out at the end of the race, it was way too late. We were already like 10 to go. Tried to pull a different strategy game as we saw. Strategy's been a really unique thing this year in fuel, and I kind of like the race distances that we've had. Darlington was the other one there. We ran well, but not well enough there as well. Managing to keep it off the wall. But Kansas, man, that I feel like was my first real chance at it this year, and we just weren't able to capitalize there at the end. But I have to shout out my boy AJ Roderick for sitting on the box for that race because he helped me out a lot on that one.
So how often have you run with a live spotter?
Not terribly often. I've done some spotting actually myself via I was fortunate enough to work with Chris Overland from the eNASCAR Coke Series last year. Toward the end of the year, I was able to be a live spotter for him, and I feel like I have a pretty good knack for it. I just haven't really gotten too many opportunities to go at that. And so if any, for some reason, any Coke pros watching out here and you want a spotter, hit me up. But spotting is just a fun thing for me. I feel like I'm very good at communicating a lot of information very quickly and getting that experience of it. So it's been fun, but I always look for a live spotter, but I understand, like, I got Delant who's running the race with me, so I can't really do too much in that regard in terms of having him live spot and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I've had like a spotter once or twice outside of our 24-hour Daytona thing, and I think for me is just having a real human being to talk to and kind of bounce ideas off of. You know, I haven't really had them like spot me before, but it's nice to be able to, like, all right, how many laps do we have? How many, on the tires, how many fuel laps do we have? Should we pit now? Should we pit later? When's the window open? When's the window going to close? Like, those are the things that I attribute to actually having either a teammate in the live chat with me, or having a spotter in general to kind of relay some of that information to take the mind off of it as I'm racing.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? You always have that one person to help you out there. I love having live spotters because, like, getting that information just a little bit quicker, right? The sim is great at it. The system they have in place is really great for what it is, but just being able to have that split second sooner, especially if there's like a wreck in front of you or something like that, it can be a miss or get into the wreck type of thing. So just that benefit of live is always been what I've shot for, but I understand that, like, not everyone's always available type of thing. So
I think.
Do you use the Iracing spotter, or do you use one of the extra pay
third-party
versions?
the download packs, or are you talking like a crew chief type of thing, right?
Crew chief. I actually just recently made the jump from crew chief to DRE. To where DRE, if there is an incident, it tells you exactly how many seconds are there, who was involved, and it'll also tell you if they're moving. Yeah.
See, I haven't made a transition to that at all. I've used the InSims one. I have put packs on it to, like, use. I mean, what was the super popular one? The Jimmy Johnson pack with Eddie DeHaan and Chad Canals. I've actually used one that someone made on Facebook right about the time I started iRacing, because I was a Brad Keselowski fan. I found a Joey Meyer spotter pack, and I always thought Joey was one of the best spotters in the sport, just because of, like, how much information he could convey to Brad listening to their radio, especially at the plate tracks. And when Brad went on that huge streak of, like, running super well at plate tracks, just, like, listening to, like, energy and things like that he would say, I always thought it was a great thing. It's so much information that's useful but concise, right? But no, I've never actually ventured into, like, JRT or crew chief or DRE for spotter packs. I use JRT when I race at all. I have a a laptop that sits over here beside me. So I see things like my fuel calculations, what everyone else is running for lap times, how far back live, and also how far they are from other people, things like that. So that kind of helped me at Kansas. I talked it over with AJ, the live spotter, to figure out what the difference, or what, like, the strategies were going to be, 2-stop versus 1-stop and things like that.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm missing with, like, my spotter pack, I'm like with Josh, I do the DRE one, and I think the only thing that is not true to life is you don't get when the runs are coming. And I think that's where the live spotters are really coming to help, because, I mean, a lot of these tracks are momentum based tracks, and if you lose just a little bit, the person on the outside or inside might have the run on you, and spotters don't tell you until they're there. They're not saying, hey, they're coming up on this side. They tell you when they're there and when they're clear, and that's kind of what they're good for. They're not good for, hey, he's gaining on you by 2 mile an hour, 3 mile an hour. He's getting there. He's coming on you. So I think that's kind of where it's at. But for spotting aspect, DRE's been by far the best that I've found, because it'll tell you if they're in the right rear or on your right side, right front. So they actually tell you exactly where they're at on your car versus just left side or inside or outside. So it's a little bit closer to having a live person, but not nearly as beneficial as a live person.
It's also very robotic.
Yeah,
is the biggest issue that
Is
I
it like
have
monotone?
Oh, it's your default Windows voices, so there's nothing cool about it.
Oh,
Yeah, mine's Cortana, so that's who talks to me. I modded it, Windows, whatever. I had to go through and try to add Cortana because she's the most lifelike voice that Windows has, in my opinion. But it's not as cool.
It's not a terrible one.
Yeah.
I was a huge Halo fan growing up, so having that voice is never a bad option.
So we've got a week off in fuel this week. Are you going to be using that to get ready for the Red Bull Ring?
I'll probably turn a couple laps here and there. I definitely don't even have the track owned yet, so I need to make that purchase this week. But I'll try to turn some laps there. I'm not gonna focus too hard on that because, like I said, I'm never too great at the road courses. So more of it's gonna be me probably doing some prep for C Opens now that season 4 has started, and kind of getting myself back and familiar with things. There was just a shock change to the trucks and the Xfinity cars, so I need to learn how that kind of affects things a little bit, and then from there start getting ready for Road to Pro. I'm gonna make another shot at it next year. I don't know if I'll be solo or with a team. I'm definitely still out there looking for things, but yeah, that I'm pretty much going to be focusing more on Open this coming week. I know we have a town hall meeting on Monday night to go over things, driver feedback, stuff like that for fuel, which is going to be pretty great. But yeah, not really too focused on the Red Bull Ring. Circled the next one on the calendar though, Talladega. That's going to be the place to try to go for it.
So
yeah, I'm not allowed to run the plate tracks anymore after what I did during Daytona. Yeah.
So what we do here on the podcast, if you're not familiar with it, is we go around the horn and we pick who do we think is going to win the following week. So we're not really going anywhere next week, but we're still going to talk about the Red Bull Ring. And hey, we got Randy Pepper showing in here.
Is he going to be with who I think he's going to be with? Because if
of course he is.
If he is, damn right. That right there is royalty. That right there is NASCAR royalty, not Randy. We don't care about Randy.
He is.
The other half in that picture is NASCAR royalty.
The guy in the red.
And I am
Okay.
I'm speechless.
Hold on a second. Tell him trivia. Ask him something.
Ask him what?
Ask him anything NASCAR trivia.
Oh, no, I can't do that because I can't come up with good enough questions. Okay, so they said, here, let's see if he knows.
Okay.
They said that Bernhardt could see the wind was the reason he was such a great drafter. True or false?
It's true.
Okay.
See the air.
It was, but how did he do it? Do you have any clue how he could see the air?
I know it had to do with the spoilers. He could
Nope.
see the air
Hey, what
coming
it
out
is.
the spoiler.
You know what is interesting fact? The reason he loved an open face helmet is he could put the way he sat over in the car like this, he felt the air coming through the window net. And instead of seeing the draft, he actually felt it. Little known fact.
And with that, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going back. See ya.
Everybody-
Bye.
Have a good
That was
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
See you, Randy. See you, Pat.
Welcome to Randy Pepper
that-
and his
that
name
was,
dropping, and this time
Yeah.
bass dropping.
That was awesome.
He can't figure out how to get out. We still
Yeah,
see you.
exactly. I don't know how to get out.
I got you, Randy.
Just drop me out of here, guys. Pull.
Oh, Randy and technology. So that was Randy Pepper with Pat Patterson. If everybody didn't know who that guy in the background was.
My God, that was awesome.
Oh, so our resident guy, Randy Pepper, is a awesome guy. Goes out and plays with everybody, and that's one of his band members.
Yeah, plays with Pat Patterson, and yeah, he loves to name drop in the NASCAR world.
So all right, right before we got interrupted by good old Randy Pepper. So we go around the horn and we ask, who do you think's going to win the next race? And the next race is the Red Bull Ring. So while we have you here, we want to figure out, who do you think will win 2 Mondays from now?
Right off the top of my head, Alan Elwood. I think he goes back to back. No, for those listening, is not because he's my teamer. I think he got some pretty bad luck at Sebring on lap one, on top of having some really good pace there. So I think, I mean, if he puts the time and the work in the laps, I think he has a shot at it. I would say maybe something fluky happens to someone else this time around. Alan Elwood gets that redemption on a road course in 2 weeks. That would be my prediction.
You only finished about 10 seconds behind him. Don't sell yourself short there, sir.
I got lucky. I took advantage of the situation. Not too great in terms of my road course pace, like I said, but he had me beat at Sebring by a good couple tenths a lap, and he ran me down and passed me. So I definitely saw something there that he's got a lot of pace, and I expect him to run pretty well at the Red Bull Ring.
Let me ask you this question. How are you at Watkins Glen?
That's probably my strongest road course. Just because Watkins Glen plays a little more like an oval with its speed. I really, really, really want them to rescan so I can abuse the curbs even more than I already do, because I feel like that's part of how I get so much pace out of the car, is being able to hit the curbs in the perfect spots. But Watkins Glen, I feel like I'm not too far off in terms of pace, but again, not a huge road course specialist.
The reason I ask that is, personally, I've run Red Bull Ring in preparation for 2 weeks from now, and it has a lot of similar feel to it, to where a lot of the turns are sweeping. However, there is that occasional hard braking after a long straight. And honestly, without saying it's exactly the same, I would say that eliminate the bus stop and it feels very similar.
Yeah, and that's what has me excited, right? I'm an F1 fan, so I know the track layout already. It's turn 3, I think it is. That second sharp corner is such a tough braking zone. It is uphill, so that should help us out in the stock cars a little bit. The downhill one at turn 5 is probably going to be the tricky one, because it loops out into the sweeping section, right? I think you're going to see a lot of trouble in the sweeping sections, just because it's going to be very technical in a stock car. You need to hit it just right, compared to an F1 car having so much downforce, or an Indy car that get a little bit of leeway, not a ton, but a little bit more leeway, since you have so much force pushing down on the car. It keeps the car glued, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Having watched Styrian Grand Prix, Austrian Grand Prix I've been an F1 fan since about 2016, so I feel like I know the track pretty well. I just need to sit down, get the wheel on, and get at it.
That's the same reason why I'm real excited for it. I've been watching Thunderwood for a long time.
This interview has been fantastic so far, but this next question is going to shape whether this is a good or a bad
God,
interview.
I'm hoping you're going the same place I was thinking about it.
So Formula One.
Yep.
Max or Lewis?
Am I picking based off of preference, based off who I think is going to win the championship?
No, favorite driver.
Favorite driver of the two of them, Max.
Not who's going to win.
Okay, because I was going to throw you guys a curveball and say Lando Norris.
You're my man right there.
Listen, I love Lando, and McLaren is absolutely performing way above expectations this year. Specifically, just Lando, not even Daniel, because besides last week,
I was going to say, I was so happy we got to see a shoe this
weekend. other
Daniel's
than
had some
Italy,
troubling
been
weeks, but
absolutely, it's just not the same driver this year. But Lando would be he'd be a pick, but he's just too far out already.
if you had to make me pick between Max or Lewis, honestly, I'm probably going to pick Max because I like his aggressiveness.
Okay, all right.
I like how he challenges a lot harder. He pushes a lot harder. Not to say that Lewis doesn't, but Max loves to try to push that issue, and we saw that at Monza. And unfortunately for him, that didn't turn out too well. So
Lewis just
luckily for Lewis, there was a halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, the Halo. Thank God for the Halo. That's the greatest thing they ever created. But
someone dug up a quote from 2018 by Toto. How he said that the Halo didn't look aesthetically pleasing and they needed to be off the car and they needed to go with something else for driver safety. And I kind of found that funny because fast forward 3 years and that Halo probably saved Lewis some severe injury, if not death.
I think they need to raise the Halo, though. I think it's still too low.
I still think that Indy has it right with the windscreen and the Halo, but
the windscreen
I would agree
because of the springs. I mean, that's the big issue was the springs. But I think the Halo might be a little too low because the IndyCar one has it up higher, and you saw it on Sunday morning that when his tire came up, it was literally on top of his head. It touched the top of his crash helmet. So I think you need to raise the Halo 4 inches, 3-4 inches, just to bring it up there so that the tire can't go into the cockpit like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah. The other thing there, I mean, if you're trying to compare the two, think about it. IndyCar's tires from Firestone are not near as big as Pirelli's on an F1 car. So just in that specific instance of that wreck at Monza, I feel like tire size had a little bit to play with it because that's what let it reach down and hit Lewis. But I mean, Halo or windscreen, if nothing's there, even if it was an IndyCar tire from Firestone, it still would have hit him. So,
Alrighty. Hey man, it was a blast to have you on here. We look forward to seeing you on the track, and you have usually the best paint scheme that I like out there every week. We commented about it almost every week. Keep the paint schemes a comment. Don't change them up too quickly though. We kind of get set on who's out there. Everybody keeps putting out even more awesome paint schemes weekly.
Nah, you'll see me in that good old red and blue from again, a squad community is on the hood. United Front, just a squad gaming community I'm a part of. They said, sure, we'll jump on the hood, and that's what we managed to make happen for this season in Fuel, and I love it. It's been a fun time. Throwback week at Darlington. I said, Alan's been painting our cars. I was like, Alan, I gotta run this Randy LaJoy one. Like, this is pretty sweet, and so we managed to do that. And then I was like, we went to North Wilkesboro right after. I'm like, you can't not run something throwback at North Wilkesboro, right?
Yeah.
So we just kept it on for that week. And then we're back to the regularly scheduled programming. So I've enjoyed tonight. Thank you guys for letting me get out of my Destiny raid group for a little bit so I can have a fun time and chat with y'all. But
Arrow Derek 56 said to tell you were his hero.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope I can make you proud each and every Monday night running these fuel races. It's been a fun time.
All right, man. Well, you have a great one.
Thank you. You guys as well, Adam. And Adam and the guys, you guys do a great job, and I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and then there was two.
We lost Nick.
It's like Monday night all over again.
I know, it's weird.
And all right, it's the twins. I'm trying to be like you. Got the beard going. I'm trying to be like you.
I was gonna say, have you not had to show up for work lately?
No, I'm at the house doing CISSP training. So I'm in a boot camp. So this is where I sit every single day with headphones on and getting some great review going on before I take this exam at the end of the month. So it's kind of nice not going to work every day.
I wish that was my life.
This is my retirement life's making my work like start going down here. My gives a fucks are going down and more down lately. So yeah. All right. Well, next up is IVRL. Our broadcaster for IVRL just left, so it's cool. But I race it, and our guest is going to be one of my unofficial teammates on Monday nights, Nicholas Weatherby. Hey, Nick, this is Adam and Josh, man. How's it going tonight?
It's going good. How about you?
Doing pretty good, man. Welcome to podcast episode number 24.
Sweet.
So, how are you doing tonight, man?
I was enjoying watching the Xfinity race. Other than that, doing pretty good.
I got you.
Wait, I didn't realize that was actually live. I need to get that going on another screen here.
The race has been pretty interesting. Hemrick actually took the lead, but Allgaier won the first stage. Sam Mayer is doing pretty good too.
I gotcha. All right, well, it's been a while since you've been on the show. Go ahead and remind people who you are, what you do, what you race, and all the wonderful things about Nicholas Weatherby.
So obviously what Adam said, I'm Nicholas Weatherby. I'm from upstate New York, now living in North Carolina. I love NASCAR. I love doing photography, graphic design. I love doing all that sorts. On iRacing, I race in IVRL, Buck Kicker Cup Series. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
I got you, man. So if everybody know, this guy puts out some phenomenal paint schemes, phenomenal renderings, recreations, and kind of futuristic, what you would call it, not just hopeful what the 2022 Cup cars may look like. So this man's been out there grinding away. If you need any type of graphics works, this guy can do a lot. I love all the stuff that he puts out. I mean, it looks top notch, like the professionals are out there designing these NASCARs.
Thank you. I've actually been taking a little halt on that. I've been trying to focus more on photography stuff right now, but I'm still doing it. It's been pretty fun. I will say it's pretty painstakingly long to do.
Oh man, I don't have the patience for it usually.
What are you using for rendering?
Blender. It's a free 3D software. There's so many tutorials out there to get a head start. It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's better than 3ds Max, which you gotta pay like subscription for, I think. So
Yeah. I used to use a software that was specifically tied to Fusion 360 because I could get the company I work for a toy company, we could get our designers just CAD models, import them right in, add all the textures, put decals on things, and it just, granted, 5 years ago, it ended up taking like 24 hours to get a reasonable quality because unfortunately it was a CPU render.
yeah, now they're all GPU accelerated, which is the best thing. So you don't gotta rely on like a really low end CPU to do all your rendering. Blender is really quick. You can set up your preferences to actually specifically use your GPU, and it'll just do all the work for you. It's really cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I miss those days, but not really.
All right, so we've already got one question from the audience out there. It's from my good old teammate here, Justin Anderson. He said, you finished one spot behind me on Richmond this past week. Can you ask him if he was completely devastated by that result? Oh, I love having a sarcastic asshole for a teammate.
He's one of my favorite sarcastic assholes out there.
I mean, to be honest, Richmond is actually, I was not disappointed at all because Richmond is a terrible track for me because my pedals are actually a little screwed up. My gas pedal likes to stick and it, like going through a corner, hitting on the brakes, so like say I'm still on the throttle a little bit, but I'm not. So I always have that issue every now and then, but other than that, I don't know how I was up front with Cossie most of the time, but I'll take it. But I'm not disappointed with the finish at all.
Man, Richmond, I hate Richmond with a passion. I'm so glad AOL Cup season skipped that week and they went from Darlington to Bristol because we had a bye week for the weekend Darlington ran because it was Labor Day, so we didn't run the Cup race that week, so we pushed Darlington back to the weekend Richmond was racing, and we skipped Richmond. I'm like, oh darn, so sad.
Could only wish I didn't have to run Richmond this year.
Oh man, I think Richmond will be better with the new cars because of the major downforce we'll have, but I don't know. I don't know. I still don't like Richmond.
No, basically from turn 3 to coming out of turn 2, it's butt clinching from start to finish.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
I will say the first Richmond race was more hellish than the last because the first Richmond race was all day, high temperatures, while this our most recent Richmond race was at nighttime with low temperatures. So it was more grippier, but yeah, it's still not fun.
Yeah, I found it more enjoyable to race. I just still had zero speed whatsoever, both long term or short term speed. And I think at one point in the run, Derek Schilling had like 10 lap older tires because he pitted right before the stage and didn't go and get fresh tires. And I think like 15 or 20 laps into that next run, he's catching me. I'm like, how's a dude with the older tires catching me? I suck. I totally suck at this truck. I hate it.
Yeah,
No
that's
one's arguing that with you, Adam.
Nobody needs to argue. I accept this.
it was like with Cody when he had no front end, was it? Yeah. Yeah, no front end, and he was catching me, and I was like clean, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't know.
Cody's car was destroyed from the front to the back, but he's passing people left and right. And I'm back there with a clean ass car going.
Yeah, pretty much same here. I couldn't make anything work. I will say, me and Cody, we raced really clean. We had that like one moment where we were like side by side for like I think 10 straight laps, and then Patrick came in and just doored me.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I mean that makes good viewing for those of us that aren't in the race.
Yeah, and I think
we're broadcasting.
I think in the restart too, I think he got my recorder and that took me out of the race entirely. So yeah,
you guys had too many rough calls in that one. Like he put you in bad positions quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this next round of playoffs because it's intermediate tracks, and I love intermediate tracks.
So once again, our lovely guest out there, Justin Anderson, the commenter, he asked, did the line at Bristol feel like to you moved around at all, or did it stay the high line?
Oh, it stayed the high line. I mean, I don't know how guys on the bottom made it work, but I mean, they did somehow. Also, I just did not know how to tire save. I was running like about nearly a 16-to-1 ratio, but I was like on a 14-to-1. Charles Gearick, he was running a 10-to-1 ratio. His tires were always clean and not burnt down to heck, and I could not save the tires for the life of me. I mean, as the race went on, I got more used to it, but it's just I didn't know how to manage.
Yeah,
that sounds like somebody that turns off force feedback so they don't have to like sit there and fight the sim itself.
I have a feeling I will have to ask him that. I would have to ask him like what force feedback did he run? Because I was fighting the heck out of the wheel because that track is bumpier than hell, and it's less bumpier than Dover.
Yeah,
Dover.
I found that I was burning the right front up there with you, and I think my first runs, I was driving in deeper into the corner. I thought that contributed. So the second stage, I backed up the whole entire stage, basically, going in the corners, trying to float from the middle to the top, trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles was still better than both of us. I think he was about almost 10% better on his front right than me and you on each stage. I don't know what he was doing. And I don't know what Greg Holt was doing. He got screwed out of that race.
Yeah, there was a lot of beating and baiting that race. I think between Carino and Cliver, and I think also Greg Holt, and I think Cliver as well. Or it was Carino. One of those two guys, Cliver or Carino. But yeah, I think Charles even ran the bottom, didn't he?
No, he ran more at the top. He started out behind Holt and he kind of just stayed up there. I think the people that really moved to bottom was Carino and Cody. And
Yeah, and Carino was catching me at the end of stage 2, and I'm like, how? He's running the bottom.
he found some speed at the end of that stage, and he blew by me. He blew by, I forgot who. I think Cliver was in front of me. No, Cliver, he took fresh tires. I forgot who was in front of me, and then he came up to you and blew by you, and I'm like, man, I don't know what he was doing, but he saved some hell of a lot of tires.
Yeah, I wish the groove was like it was in real life, bottom, but I mean, honestly, the top, before I came in here, the top was actually coming in at the real life race. Mayer was making it work, but I don't like that. I mean, the version we have of Bristol is like much older than what they're running now, which is much rougher concrete. So I have a feeling if there was a rescan, it would probably be different, but I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Damn you for telling me that was live, because now it's right next to us. No, it's really weird because I have done some laps in Bristol, especially with the B car, and you have to run that top line. That's the only hope you have, and yet these guys are glued to that yellow line.
Yeah, that PJ1 is also another factor too.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that.
Iracing doesn't do a good job of modeling that.
Well, you also look at how Darlington is. Like in 3 and 4, they're running 2 to 3 grooves lower than what we could run in Iracing. We barely can get to that white line and make it stick. They're running well below that white dotted white line in 3 and 4, 2 to 3 wide. So I mean, there's some stuff that's not 100% true to life. And Justin, so fishing so you don't choke on turn 1, lap 1. Yeah, just don't have somebody start on the outside and let somebody use all 4 tires to help turn.
We ended up finding out that at Bristol, if you hit the wall at the right angle, you would actually have better turning and you would actually exit faster.
There was one person that abused that all night long. I'm not going to say he won the race, but he might have won the race on Tuesday night after banging the center of the corner about 50% of the laps.
So hint, everybody from the AOL that's planning on running this on Sunday, you may want to watch the broadcast to figure out what's happening.
Yeah. If you hit it a certain way, I don't know if it's a 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, if it's both corners, but
I think it's both, because I think I hit it one time in 3 and 4. It launched me and maybe set off.
Yeah,
and then
I did it by accident. I hit it and
here I did it by accident.
I did it by accident. I just pushed the corner too hard, trying to catch up to Carino. And I hit the outside wall, and then it basically turns your car, and you just dive bomb them going down the front straight. So it just propels you a lot of speed, but some people didn't do it by accident. So
yeah, there is that. I try to stay off the wall, but I kind of had to hit it a few times because I would just lose a lot of time. It's pretty much an exploit that you really can't avoid sometimes.
I was going to say, Justin Anderson's out there saying it's been possible for years and he can't believe they haven't fixed it.
Well, I think that new damage model probably would have fucked them up. Anybody trying to do that probably would have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm still waiting for them to release it for this gen and next gen, but I don't think they will.
And Harvey, you didn't choke on lap 2. Somebody else choked and you ran into him. That's not
that was
choking.
Not,
that was somebody else choking.
Yeah, you cannot avoid that. So.
Yeah, that was unavoidable, and especially at Bristol.
Yeah, I did a truck race yesterday. Yeah, before the actual real life truck race. Literally 12 laps in, first wreck at the very top. The guy, for some reason, just wanted to stay on the top and then just go down to the apron, and I clobbered him. So, yeah.
That's just running officials.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first mistake. Shouldn't run officials.
All right. Hey, man. So next week we're moving to Vegas. You know, what happens in Vegas is going to stay in Vegas in IVRL. So who do you think is going to be the winner at Vegas?
Well, knowing how flat out Vegas is with this car, I'm kind of gonna bet on you because it's like a plate track, just about. Especially,
Yeah, that's a shocker for me.
Josh. I see you. Look, man. Come on, you had to try to. You should. You had to.
I have run it in the Cup car. It's more just really someone has faith in Adam.
That's what I'm going after.
Hey, gotta have some kind of faith. All right.
Hey, true though. The last time Nick was on this show was right before Dega, and he picked me to win, and I won it. So this could be it.
Yes, finally. But I don't know. Man, I kind of wish Converse and the other drivers would stay in the league, but they haven't. So it's probably just gonna be 14 of us again. Hopefully we all don't spread out too much and we can remain in a kind of a good racing pack, but I doubt it. Yeah. Don't know.
I'm gonna go with my man Greg Holt. So
Greg, yeah, he's good at those tracks.
He's really good at conserving tires, and that's one of the tracks that's a mile and a half, but you got to conserve your tires to keep up that speed and the momentum. And the man proves over and over that on these type of tracks that he can save his tires better than the rest of the pack. So I mean, he did it at Bristol last week. I mean, he was running me down the lap, like catching me by almost a second a lap, and we're the same tire strategy. So the man can save some tires. So I'm gonna go with him.
Honestly, like, I would say that that's an absolutely terrible pick, given that, okay, didn't do very well at the beginning of the season, but it's beginning of the season, and I completely forgot that there were 9 cautions.
Honestly, I kind of forgot about the beginning of the season.
Josh is our stats man. He goes back and looks up everything.
Me and it's weird. All of that stuff. I love it. Honestly, I can't go against you. Nick, you've got it.
Hey, actually, Nick and Randy, I heard, actually have me in their final 4 picks. So hey,
yeah, they definitely don't have me in their final 4. I don't even have
it's the
me
same
in the final
thing
4.
that it basically goes with the same thing that you just said about Greg. It's you look at these kinds of tracks, you look at what the finishes have been, you look at what happened this week, but I mean Bristol's
Bristol, baby.
Bristol. But no, I'm not going to say it's the safest pick, but it's still one of those things that I would give you a really good chance of finishing first.
Yeah, it was kind of. I wasn't expecting to win Indianapolis. That was just out of a blue win for me. I was not expecting that. But I enjoy intermediate tracks more than any tracks we run on the schedule because, well, one, you go all out, and then in the long runs, it's really fun when you gotta let off long and you gotta get back on throttle near the exit. I love those kinds of tracks, especially conserving tires. I find that the most fun part. Also, I think I could have a good opportunity if I'm behind causing Holt, because then I can start running their lines, start practicing what they're running. It's what I did with Patrick at Indianapolis. I got right behind him. I practiced his line. I started to do it better than him, ended up passing him, and I ended up winning. Of course, there's a few green, white checkered cautions, but got done.
I won't put anything past you, man. You've every week in the team chat, you're like, "Screw this truck! I hate it! I hate it! I hate it!" And I'm thinking, like, "Yes, I can beat somebody this week. I can beat somebody. He hates it." And then we start. He's like, Where's this dude? This dude said he hates this track. He's in third. Screw this guy. Screw this guy. Like,
it's kind of like Causey. It was kind of like Causey. And then at the beginning that he would usually tell like Nick and Randy that he hates this track. He ended up winning the track.
Well, see, there's a difference of hating the track but still being good at it. You're in the chat the whole entire time, like being pissed off to the road. I hate it. I'm not gonna be good. Screw this track. Man, I hate it. I run like crap. There's no way I'm gonna do anything tonight. And then it's like, hey, look, he's in third. Okay.
All right. I will be the first to admit the biggest thing when you get it in your head that you're going to do terribly and you absolutely hate the track, you just kind of just let it be. You don't overthink it and you just go out and drive. And that happens to be the day that, you know what? That's exactly what you need. And you run an amazing race because you're not in your head.
Yes, I wasn't in my head at all at Indianapolis. I loved racing Indianapolis, and look what happened. I ended up winning it. But yeah, I'm kind of worried about Kansas. I've actually never raced Kansas, and I heard that is a top dominant track, dominant track. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's multi-lane, so
I've actually seen it because actually the league that we just talked to a racer from. We thought Kansas was going to be a top-only track, but we were seeing guys dropping down all the way.
It was a true race. We had a fun time watching the battles that ensued, both the top, the middle, and the bottom.
Granted, it was in the B car.
Yeah, it was in the B car. So different car, but I mean, it's doable. That's where the track grip was at. It wasn't solely at the top or solely at the bottom. These guys were able to slice and dice for laps.
I personally love ripping the wall. I love getting really close to the wall. So I think I might take advantage of that groove. And if it eventually starts not working out, I will probably either go middle or all the way to the line. But I'm nervous about that race, but I'm also really excited because I've never actually raced that track, which is kind of a shocker for me, despite I'm in a full schedule NASCAR league. Yeah, should probably buy and practice it now.
I think the only thing that's concerning me with the upcoming races is the Roval being the cutoff race next in 3 weeks for the round of 8. So I think that's kind of where my focus is going to be solely, because I think it's my cutoff race in 2 weeks. So I'm like, yay!
You've actually driven the Roval in real life. You should be a master.
I know how the track drives. I just don't like how it drives in the Cup car. And then my car didn't drive that well in it. My personal car didn't drive that well in it.
I'm kind of nervous about Roval too because of my pedals. My throttle sticks, and I'm on the brake as hard as I can to stop and overcome the pedal issue. But I mean, I was having that issue at Coda, and I finished third in Coda, I think. I don't know, but actually Roval too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Daytona road course. First race I debuted, and I did 4th position, I think. I was having issues then too, so I think I can overcome it, but I don't know.
Just brake early. And the thing that I've learned in any of these stock cars on the road courses is when you feel slow, somehow you're actually really fast.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. We love having you on tonight, man. Good luck next week at Las Vegas. I'll see you out there as my unofficial teammate for this wonderful last, was it 7 races we got left?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you have an excellent night, man.
You too, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, so that was the IVRL segment with Nicholas Weatherby. The man's been putting on a good show throughout this season so far. He's sitting up there pretty high in points. He's always a contender going into every week. He always claims he's not a contender, but he's always up there.
And you know what? I'm going to stick with those races that you really don't feel like you have a chance are the ones that you tend to do the best. Like last night I went into the TNT series I'd literally never driven New Hampshire before Tuesday night for practice. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of feel terrible today. I'm just going to go in, run my race, take whatever finish I can get. And somehow me being half present mentally somehow turned into second.
All right. Well, let's talk about Thursday night. Before we do though, let's go ahead and bring in our next guest. It's going to be Dave Wright. Hey, Dave. This is Adam and Josh. Man, how's your night going?
It's going well, thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're going fantastic so far. Glad to have you on, man.
Oh, hang on, I gotta turn down my YouTube. I'm getting some feedback there. Where's my camera? There it is.
There we go.
There's Dave. Awesome, man. Well, we're glad to have you make it here tonight, man. I heard you were out buying your son his first wheel, trying to get him involved, and trying to get him running with you on Thursday night, man.
Well, I tried, but he's got a friend that's into F1, so he's gonna do his own thing for a while. He's gonna get into it and get used to it, and then he said he'll think about joining a league. I said, okay, I'll let you get warmed up for a little bit first, and then come on over to our side and
I mean,
see what it's really like.
in all honesty, that actually is a really good path because, I mean, once you figure out road courses, moving to ovals, I'm not going to say easy, but at least you're not going to be sliding all over the place.
Exactly. I mean, when he had his Xbox, when they had their Xbox out in the living room, that's how I started. I mean, I was doing F1 2016 or whatever it was before I got this set up. So, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. And, yeah, we took him over to GameStop tonight and picked up a brand new 923. So they're all excited.
Definitely got a little bit of quality there. It's definitely not the direct drive world, but it's exactly what he needs to get started.
Yep, exactly. So, and then he gets a text from his girlfriend. Can you bring me coffee? I'm at work. I want to get this set up right now, so I guess so.
All right, man. Hey, so go ahead and, I think you came on a while back with us, and so, tell the wonderful viewers who you are again and everything about it. We got Justin Anderson out there, so he said, I remember when he was here before, is Dave happy with his progress? So go ahead, and when you start telling us about it, go ahead and answer that question for good old Justin Anderson.
All right. I'm Dave. I'm originally from Indianapolis. I grew up there. Right now I'm living in just outside of Chicago. Yeah, as far as my progress, I am getting there. I'd say I'm happier with my progress since the beginning of season 3. I've noticed a definite change. My progress since I went out to Vegas since Charlotte Roval, I dropped considerably. It was like trying to get back into that rhythm has really messed me up. But the last Watkins just really played with my mind. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the shifting with the clutch setup that Carl suggested, or
were you using auto blip or were you using the anti-stall?
Anti-stall.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
on road courses.
And I've been trying to get better launches at restarts. That is one of my bad points. My restarts are horrible. I just don't want people running into the back of me anymore. I'm getting Richmond was just that was horrible. Anyways,
Richmond's horrible anyway.
I do like Richmond, but I just hate it when I was running third and I climbed up on the wall and I had people pissed off.
Don't hold climbing on the wall in the ARCA cars against you, because in all honesty, every single one of us has had that moment.
I mean, hell, the Xfinity cars let you do that as well. You hit the wall and just ride up on it, man. But no, man. Hey, from a broadcaster point of view, I get to see you every single week, man. You're out there running. I can tell that you're putting in the time. I mean, you just need to get that full race consistency. You're putting together more consistent lap after lap and putting together more consistent races. And it takes time to build that full race that gets you up there, man. But you're putting in the time and effort, and it shows up here. And if Randy was here, he'd say the exact same thing, man.
Yeah, last night running with Tim and Carl, I felt very confident running side by side with them last night. Well, really with anybody last night, I felt confident. I have noticed in the past that when people would get behind me or people would get beside me, I'd freak out and I'd let them pass me. Gary Winters last night, he flew past me. I didn't see where he was coming from. I don't know where he got that speed, but man, he just, and I'm like, was he a lap down? I looked, no, that was for position. I'm like, holy cow, I'll just let him go and just.
Yeah, I mean, I know how that feels. Like I know whenever I first joined the AOL, and I had the Justins and the Blakes and Steves and the Joes. They're around me, and I wasn't as confident with my driving, so I would move up out of the way. But you don't practice that. You don't practice that move out of the way technique while you're in practice, and sometimes you put yourself in more of harm's way by doing that and get on the throttle wrong, slap the wall. I mean, there's so many different things that can go wrong whenever you move out of the way for them. Sometimes it's better to race your line and let the leaders kind of dictate, or the person before or behind you try to make the move on you, and you just continue to run your line.
Yeah, and I was doing my apologies one time, and somebody commented on Facebook. He's like, dude, I don't know you, but you apologize way too much. And that kind of hit me. I was like, you know what? He's right. I do apologize. It's a Midwestern thing because we're always apologizing for
Yeah,
something.
it is.
So I'm like, screw it. You know what? I'm not going to apologize for the way I drive. I'm not going to apologize if I, bounce off into somebody, because that's racing. If I do bounce off into somebody, that's racing. But I mean, if I do take somebody out, yeah, I'm going to apologize for it. But if we bounce off into each other and, whatever, that's racing. I'm not going to apologize for the way I drive. If I drive like an asshole, yeah, I will. But I'm not going to apologize for driving.
If you swap a little bit of paint, no. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, it is one of the better things about the AOL is generally everybody, if you cause some shit, yeah, you're gonna come out and apologize. Whereas I've been in other races, mostly officials. My wife just heard me laughing running one a few weeks ago, to where she's just like, what's going on? I'm just like, just the banter. Everybody sounds like they're 12 years old and complaining about everything. And I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I was a half a lap out in front of them, but you know what? It's still funny to listen to everyone bitch at each other.
Mm-hmm.
But no, again, there's going to be a certain amount of racing incidents. And you know what? I will tell you, when Carl and I joined practice on Tuesday, I will not forget what Carl said. He was just like, I don't know what's going on here, but Dave is like a half second faster than me.
What? I was?
Yeah, for like his first few laps out on the track, yeah, you were faster than him.
See, and that's the stuff I don't pay attention to.
And it took me, I think, 6 laps to even approach the speed.
Holy cow. I just get out there and I drive. I try to make sure that I'm not sliding. I keep a consistent line. And I'm not out there to try and break any records.
I mean, sometimes that's the best way to do it, to look at it. I mean, if you're going out there and you're trying to, you got the green and red bar there, the lap timer, you have that up, you push yourself. Sometimes it's a great motivating tool to try to figure out how to get that qualifying lap. But it also plays mind tricks on you whenever you're trying to do actual race speed. When you want to get into that race trim, that race mindset, that seeing that little red bar every single lap, and that's when you start doing dumb things or doing other retarded things that kind of trips your mind up, and you got to unfocus from that and kind of look at your trends for your 10, 15, 20 lap. I started doing that with the stint analyzer thing that Joe posted up, one of those programs that allows you to do that, to kind of see where you're at. And that's where I want to see myself get better at, is those 10 lap, 20 lap, 30 lap stints. It's great to be able to go out and snap the fastest lap during a practice, but how well does that translate into a 30 lap run? As you guys saw last night at New Hampshire, you guys put together, I think, two 30 to 35-ish lap runs there.
Hopefully 30 for each.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, I mean, TNT series, you're going to be running these long green flag runs. And to be able to get those long runs, it's how well can you manage your tires and still be productive at the end of that run. That's kind of where my mindset is at. And right now, trying to be consistent for the playoffs. I know I'm not going to go out there and win in these playoffs that I am in, but I want to be consistent.
Right. And learning to relax during the runs. I get so tense. And after one of my spins, my first spins, I found myself all like this. And I just okay, just relax. And then my lap times went down, And when I do that, or I don't know if they went up or they went down, but anyways, I got faster. That's where I need to start paying more attention to how I'm driving. It's just breathing, making sure that I'm relaxed,
That's why I drink.
Maybe I need to take more Xanax before I start driving.
Don't take too much, because we don't want you falling asleep at the wheel. You're not that old yet.
We got, my wheel fell off, and there's Dave over there sleeping at the wheel. Why is he running plowing through us with a caution?
We also had the back fell off of my chair, and I spilled my M&Ms.
No.
But no, I mean, I had a blast last night. It didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but
I mean, I focused on you for a little bit on the broadcast last night. I don't know if you didn't see it, but I mean, you were back there slicing and dicing with these guys, and I mean, you were putting on a heck of a show.
Fun.
And unfortunately, you got loose there. I mean, these flat tracks, you get on the throttle just a little bit too soon, a little bit too hard, and round that goes. And there's there's little room that you can have. I mean, you can save those, but I mean, it's really hard to be able to save, depending on how much gas and throttle you put on it and how quickly the thing's going to spin.
Yeah, and that's when I was in my head. That's when I was not paying attention, not looking around me, not aware of my surroundings, and not feeling what the car was doing. I was in my head, and that's when things get away from me. That's what happens. But yeah, I mean, it was just, I think that was the best race I had a lot of fun at.
And honestly, New Hampshire is one of those tracks that it just seems so, in theory, so easy because it's wide.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, it's flat, and coming out of each turn, there's that dip right on the apex to where, God, I had to fight every single bit of my being to stay above that as I'm coming out of the turns, because during practice it was just like, no, you give a little bit too much throttle and suddenly you're on the inside wall.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I knew exactly where to go in the turns. And do you think for the life of me I could hit that same spot every single time? No.
Oh no, New
I could
Hampshire. New Hampshire is hard because if you get a great run coming out of turn 4, that puts more speed going in turn 1. So if you plan to brake at the same mark every single lap, now you're running 3-4 miles an hour faster. That pushes you deeper in the corner, then messes up your whole entire line. So you know, it's hard to adjust to that because it's such a flat track, to ensure that the entry speed is where it needs to be at for every corner entry. So you know, you got to shoot from the hip sometimes to be able to stop playing. I won't say it, but and sometimes you got to shoot from the hip and be able to try to adjust these things. And sometimes you can't, and then you got a car around you because you're fighting hard for that position. So I get it, man.
Yeah. I tried different, steering ratios, different brake ratios and biases and stuff. And I finally settled on the original one that I went with, which, 66 up front, 66%, and 12 to 1. And that's what I stuck with for the whole night. And, I know each person is different, but that's what I was most comfortable with.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. New Hampshire it's one of the lengths that normally I'll end up going 16 to 1, but I ended up running 14 just because otherwise my general rule is if I'm turning the wheel more than 90 degrees, yeah, I kick it down. And granted, I'm one of those people that my brake bias, I always have it back to where I think I was running 63% during the race, but also I love loose setups and I love kicking the rear end around. But, that's just me.
Yeah, I haven't learned my racecraft that well yet enough, so
Eh.
I can't slide that car around yet and still keep it in control yet. So
I blame the overly expensive gear that I have, even though I don't. Adam's brake pedals cost, I think, triple what mine do.
And I still suck, so it's cool. The gear does not make you at all. At all. It does not make you at all. So don't worry about that. The more expensive stuff, I think the only thing that helps is having a load cell brake pedal. But after that, it's more about immersion, so to speak. That's what I'm going to go with. I just went with more immersive. So, but I did get a Chicagoland win after I bought these pedals. So with the track I don't use brake at, I won. So we'll go with that.
It's only because I almost gave you the tip and ended up getting a speeding penalty.
That's where.
Yeah, which I didn't get a speeding penalty in the pits either this week. So that was a good thing. Came close, but I didn't get it. So that's one of my Achilles heels as well.
So next week we're going to one of my favorite tracks. Track I'm racing Sunday.
What's also on the leftmost screen right now for me. Bristol.
So what's your take on Bristol, man? Have you started practicing yet?
Not yet. Which I will probably start sometime this week.
I got you, man.
I don't know. Bristol's funny. I haven't run it a whole lot. Last time I ran it, it was comfortable. But again, I just haven't really ran it a whole lot. So.
Oh, I got you.
I was going to say, you got a 9th the last time we ran it.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
He's our stats man. Like in the real NASCAR broadcast, people feed the broadcaster stuff. That's Josh. Josh is the stats man. He's like, back in 1992, you kicked a dog.
No, that's Nick. I just have bookmarks of everything in Dan Lisa, or Sim Racer Hub as it's called now. But
I like the name Sim Racer Hub versus Dan Lisa because I feel like I'm going to a site I shouldn't be going to.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just can't get used to calling it Sim Hub or whatever. I don't even know, because there's so many Sim names out there. It's not like a unique name for me, and it just feels generic. So, but it sounds better than Dan Lisa.
Yes, it does. I'm going to have to go back and watch last year's Bristol. I do remember that was the night that poor John Gordon was getting picked on.
Yeah, he had, and that was just because, in all honesty, there's no runoff. It's part of the reason why I actually love Bristol, is just because it's tight, it's fast, to where if there's any kind of an error, you're gonna end up in a wall.
It's like
there's gonna
over.
be no bumper, and you're just done.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dover. You make that mistake, you're eating it. So
yeah, Dover was another fun one too. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm looking forward to Bristol. Looking forward to running the new PJ1 groove, see what that's like. So we'll see what happens. But stayed stationary in points this week, so it's a good thing.
Consistency.
Didn't drop any, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I haven't actually looked at that this week.
So
that whole trip just threw me off, and it dropped me back to 15th, I think it was. I was at 10th.
You're on 13th right now.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. You're in front of Nick Adams. That's all you really need to worry about.
Oh, okay, Joe. Yes, New Hampshire has progressive banking in the corners. It's not completely flat, but it's a flat racetrack, okay?
Oh, yeah, it could be progressive all you want. That thing, what is the max banking? 10 degrees?
Oh, man. I've been on more parks that have better banking than that track. And that's because their sidewalk was jacked up.
Yeah. So,
but no, man, just keep putting in the work like you're doing. Get out there, and just go at it, man. This Bristol's a fun race. I don't know. I haven't raced in the ARCA car, and I don't know how long, but it's going to be a blast. These cars handle great there, from my understanding, and just be consistent, race the track. I can't remember if they got an AI race there or not. If they do, throw up an AI race. I love putting up AI races. I put them around 65%, be challenging, and I learned the door beat the hell out of them too, because they'll stay in place when you hit them.
Cool.
Yeah, just don't put it above 65, then it's unfair.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. I found out. I went to Talladega and I put the skill level between 75 and 95. And they ran away from me. I was in the draft, and they pulled away from me. I was like, that's not possible. Okay, cool. You guys have a great day, AI. You guys are a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah, it's very much like if you ever actually watch the pace car on one of the road courses. My personal favorite is if you actually watch the pace car this Wednesday at Mid-Ohio. The pace car is taking the car faster, or the turns faster than an Indy car could.
Yeah.
Well, it was like that fun race that we had with the
At
Formula
Lime Rock.
Vs. Yeah. I mean, that thing
that's another good one.
Going to the chicane right there.
Yeah. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, so that's what the AI will do if you set them up really high. I don't understand why they have that option to go. I think that at 75, that should be like 110 right there. But if you put it up, you can go up to 110 with the AI, and they're going to run about 3 seconds lap faster than what you're going to run.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'll look that up and see if I can get a race like that going.
Bristol is one of them I just checked, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I'm probably going to do that over the weekend, because it really does from what we've seen this past week, and we're probably going to see on Sunday with the Cup Series, the line to take is high and then middle groove, and then that's about it.
So
You're not going to be able to see too much on the low line unless it's 1-2 laps, but only coming down to about the middle is the only way you're going to be able to get a run through the straight.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try to play with it and try to. AI helps because it puts you around other people, and it's people you can't piss off. So you can wreck them all you want, and they're not going to be pissed off at you. You just hit previous session and continue right back playing another one. So you go out there and beat and bang with them, mess up all you want, and nobody's going to yell at you. So that's what I do. And then
Cool.
with AI races too, I can't remember how you do it, but that's the only way you can, without setting up a server, your personal private server, which you got to pay for, you can actually lower the fuel tank levels in them. So if you run in leagues that have 50%, 65% fuel, you're able to mimic that versus just a regular test session will put you at 100% when you can't change the fuel levels, because every car acts completely different at different fuel levels.
Okay.
Well, you also have to realize that if we're running the ARCAs, we run at 100%.
No, I'm just saying in general. So that's one of the added benefits to the AI racing when they have it, because in normal practice sessions by yourself or solo, they don't give you that option of changing the fuel level out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That sounds like a blast.
And then you can also set up AI race seasons if you're into that too, so you can have your own season that you race against the AI. So
yeah, I currently have one set up for Formula V to where I run tracks that should not be run by the Formula Vs, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, the AI knows the track and you don't.
Yeah. I have 2 ovals on there, and it was hilarious that there was no way that they should have been that fast because we were running the baseline setup, and it was perfection for an oval. And I'm a half second slower at 5 flags.
Oh, man.
It was still fun, though.
Yeah.
Alrighty, man. Hey, man. Hey, thanks for coming out tonight and talking with us about
Thanks
the
for having
TNT.
me.
And we wish you luck next week. Hopefully, you can go out there, dump Josh for me, and get a win.
Yeah,
Hopefully
he already did it to me at Nashville.
It was all with love, Josh. Come on.
I know. I can't be mad at you. It just happens.
Yeah.
I screwed up myself, and God.
Well, I mean, you went flying past me at Watkins, so.
Well, I mean,
You guys passed me twice at Watkins, so.
yeah, I don't remember that. All I remember is ZD dumping me.
That's the lasting memory.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next.
I'll see you Tuesday.
Hopefully. Yeah, I'll see you Tuesday night.
See you, man.
All right, see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Alrighty, well, that's going to be it for the TNT section. Our next guest will be coming in talking both the AOL Sportsman and Cup Series. His name is Ed Springer. Hey, Ed. It's Adam and Josh. The only 2 guys in the booth up here.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed that Carl isn't here. When I turned on the feed, I was like, man, Carl's not here. I want for him and everything. Even got my Clemson Cup for him.
So in our chat earlier, Adam was having a great time with him because he is a Gamecocks alumni. And yeah, there were a few phrasing moments.
Phrasing. Oh, man.
All in good fun.
But Carl did just text us a few minutes ago while we were live on air and said that he's drunk riding a carousel. So he's having a good night right now.
Where is he riding a carousel?
At some zoo. He's at a work function at a zoo. And he said he was going to go have a few beers for it. And then he sent a message to us that he's riding in a carousel.
I hear you.
Yeah, that would be
That's got to be more
absolutely
fun than sitting here
lovely.
talking with you guys. So.
I mean, I've never had a work-related function that wanted me to go get drunk and ride a carousel.
I would just like it to be known the last my company Christmas party where I worked previously to where I'm at now, it was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, full open bar, and some of us may have taken over the live karaoke, playing songs and just drinking uncontrollably.
I think the only thing I've ever done to take over control was the New Orleans airport. I took over the New Orleans airport when I was for Hurricane Katrina. So during Hurricane Katrina, the 82nd Airborne Division decided that it'd be great to go down there and support them. So I was part of that effort to go down there and support Hurricane Katrina. And we were stuck at the wonderful New Orleans airport. And I got to go around driving the baggage carts. I got to drive the belt conveyor carts that the baggage goes on. I mean, we had so much fun. I was like just turned 21. Oh man, we had a good time down there.
I could tell you the weird things that I've driven over the years. Working at UPS gets you access to some really weird vehicles.
Oh, I'm not hearing you, Ed.
Oh, I didn't. I'm just nodding.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Hey, so we got you on here, Ed, man. We got you on as a driver capacity, and we've had you on as multiple different capacities. So we're here to talk about the Sportsman Series. We just got through running Mid-Ohio. Unfortunately, I was not there, and I was like, "Oh shucks, I'm missing a wonderful road course due to a work-related function that was not as fun as Carl's."
Yeah, I wasn't there either. And first of all, I don't know who confused me for a driver. I think that's awesome. I appreciate that.
That guy right there, he's the one that said, "Let's get it on."
But I didn't. I missed it, and I moved up a position. So I'm seeing there's got to be a better way. Nah, because of the.
Don't worry, I moved up 5 positions by not racing it.
Oh man, I hated not to. I really hated that we had to make a decision to choose between races because I like the cookie cutters much more than I like the road courses. But I ran it and I was ready for it. But I watched a good bit of it. Looked like a good race to me.
As the person that actually tried to get Mid-Ohio added to the course, the schedule, the only reason I did is because it's the closest thing to a home race in the sim that I can get. But God, that track is terrible in a stock car.
Yes, it is.
Did you guys see Blake's launch at the end on his second? Is in the broadcast on his. I think it was on his second qualifying lap. I guess he decided he got loose, so he decided to heck with it. He went off one of the curves. All 4 tires are in the air. Goes airborne. It's awesome.
So the short story on that is, yes, I saw that, and the other story to go along with that is, I've actually done that on a sports bike in real life.
Oh, that would not be fun.
Actually, it kind of was. It hurt a little bit, but I was also only 18 at the time, so bounce back, rode home.
You're bulletproof at 18.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the chase. I mean, we got good tracks coming up. I hate Blake's work schedule is going to mess him up for Sportsman.
Yeah, so
he and Justin and Daniel and Chris, I mean, those 4, they're going to make it tough.
Yes.
I am really pushing for Chris to make it. Like, in the closed circuit chat, I have been taunting him, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, we just found out tonight. Johnny posted up on the AOL page saying that Blake is dropping out of the playoffs indefinitely. I don't know, due to work commitments, he's not going to be able to make the chase. So he gave up his spot, and now John Gordon is going to fill in his spot for him. He was the next one in line. We got Says, I think Joe earned the most points over the last 5 or 6 weeks, though. And then,
yes. And honestly, that has been fantastic to see him coming back to form at the exact right time.
yeah,
we're only 18 points separate first and 18th, or first and 9th right now. I mean, that's not a lot.
yeah, and I mean, the tracks that are coming up are actually pretty reasonable tracks. You got Five Flags, iRacing Super Speedway, and Texas. So, I mean, Five Flags is going to be more of a.
I was going to say, hold on. Reasonable in the trucks. Five Flags wasn't reasonable in the Legends.
Yeah. So it's a reasonable short track racing for us. It always could be worse than Five Flags out there that they could put out there. iRacing Super Speedway.
Running Concord?
Yes. We could be running Concord.
That's another track that Josh pushed for, if I recall right.
Both me and Carl did, and then I don't remember. Oh, that was my wife's birthday. That's why I missed that one.
And then we got iRacing Super Speedway, which is always that wild card variable. That's a multi-lane, huge super speedway.
You can go 4 to 5 wide there
comfortably,
and not have an issue.
So
that's gonna be fun. I got to get my points in the first two because I have to miss the October 6th one.
Now we're in Texas.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll wreck myself out of both of those races to where there's one person out of the way.
Don't dump me, man. That didn't do nothing to you. Oh man, but so I mean, like, I think I'm gonna have a pretty good shot at iRacing Super Speedway in Texas. I think that's where I'm gonna get my points in. Short tracks and me just don't get along, so I think that's where I'm gonna have to try to pick up the points there going into to carry me into the next round.
Joe said he's gonna crush them all.
Yeah, I can agree with 2 of them. I have a feeling all of us are going to get crushed in some way at Five Flags.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to it, but like I said, it could be Concord. There's always a worse track out there, and
Not Concord all you want. At least there's 3 turns.
Oh, but no, I'll take Five Flags. Trucks, at least the torque is low for it, so it kind of helps out in the trucks. I think that's the only way I like short tracks in the trucks is because the torque is a lot lower than the Cup cars, and because
I hadn't even practiced it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I just know that the torque's going to be lower than what it is in the Cup car, trying to get off the corners there.
I've only ever run it in the Legends, so I have 0 hope.
But I mean, I think we're all going to probably be in the same boat here. Admins have done a good job. They've already released the setup for next week, so that's good. So we're able to go ahead and start practicing if we want.
Yeah,
that would require me to actually have time.
So Joe said, Joe's out there asking you, what's your favorite track outside of Darlington?
Charlotte.
I feel you on that one. I like Charlotte. It suits my driving style pretty good, and I think the last time we went to Charlotte, I was going to be a factor in that one up until the first green flag pit stop where I thought the speed limit was 55 when it was 45. I was so confident driving in at 55, like, got it down to speed. Yeah, buddy, I got this. Because I think I drove back from, I think, 8th place up to 3rd, and I was catching the top 2, which was, I think, Steve and Josh Hanner. I think those were the 2 up front, and I was clicking off every single lap, and then I go into pit road and just completely destroy it.
Yeah, if I could, I don't know, for some reason I can just feel that track. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I like it though.
Yeah, I think I've even got a pole once there. So I mean, I really like that track. I can't wait till we race it in next year. Feel confident when I go there. Hopefully that translates to Las Vegas. They're similar in nature, but hopefully that right there will carry me because we got 2 races in 2 different leagues. That's depending on that one.
Looking forward to next year and not having to worry about provisionals and just say we're going to count X number of races and get rid of all the provisional tracking, and I think that'll be a lot better.
I think it would make it more competent or competing aspect of it's going to make it more interesting because there's quite a few people that stop racing for a while and then they come back in. They're still in the playoffs and they haven't raced in a while. So, like, I think it makes it great for the people who actually want to invest the time into the series. How mad were you at the last Southern get together? I brought my rig and David Traeger bought his SRC wheel and pedals.
What? Sorry, just got back. I had to keep my cat
Oh,
from killing himself.
I'll tell you what broke my heart is I remember sitting down and running some laps, and then Dave sat down and ran laps on the same equipment, and I said, well, there goes my theory that it's the equipment. It was not the equipment.
Oh, I felt that same way in real life when I was go-kart racing. So it was different weight classes between me and my dad, and I was running in the kind of amateur class, the beginning one, and my dad was racing in like the 45 and older senior class or whatever it was, and man, I get out there. I just went out, spent my Army bonus. I got like a $6,000 bonus after the wonderful tax system took 28% off the top of my bonus. I came home with just a little over 4,000. Bought me a new go-kart, got everything all set up, and my dad was it's my engine builder tech and all that good stuff. We go out there and man, first race I'm lapped. I'm just out there not doing a damn thing and get lapped. And then my dad, same exact equipment. We're low budget here. We don't have different engines after every race like all these high tech people do. We're driving in with this stuff in the back of our truck where these people were hauling in trailers. And my dad gets out there, the exact same thing, different weight class. And then my dad's out there competing for the win. I'm like, screw this equipment, man.
That's what I mean. That was always my theory all along. Is I suck because I got inferior equipment, but that was not the problem.
Yeah, no.
Not even close.
No, the biggest thing that I will say is the only piece of equipment that can make a difference is having load cell pedals. The wheel, not going to make much of a difference. Having that extra brake feel, yeah. But honestly, I spent nearly $1,000 on my wheel and it wasn't that big of a difference. I mean, other than I have more buttons.
I mean, you got people out there spending quite a bit on everything, and then Blake's out there with the entry level wheel from Fanatec, whooping my ass every week. So, I call it. I go for the immersion factor, not for the I'm going to win factor.
That's about right.
So maybe whenever I do start winning and I start competing at the top, then I'm like, yeah, it's the equipment, not me.
I missed the TNT segment, but the end of that race last night, that was Josh. Man,
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, you had old tires that were Gary's tires the same as yours, or did he pit?
Nope, he was on the same strategy as me.
The next
That's
one up
what
was,
we thought.
The next one up was Brandon Bernhardt. He was the next one up in fourth. That had the fresh set of tires. Sean Carmody had fresh set of tires too, but he didn't get third until the last lap. So they were kind of battling back there. So
yeah, Brandon got kind of boxed in and just
intentionally.
Well, I mean, that's a good strategy, but I couldn't believe the move Gary made. I was just like, It blew me away. We were like, me and Joe were going, check this out.
I locked up a little bit going into the last turn just because it was, yeah, I was tired at that point, but no, it was the perfect move at the perfect time, and I can't take anything away from him. It's just annoying that
that you
89 laps led, and then only one that counts.
You didn't lead.
He won one. I went back and looked, and he said, led one lap. I was like, oh man, that is just salt in the wound.
I mean, Josh led every other lap the whole entire race. I was watching it, and commenting on it all night long that, he's led every lap. Will he be able to finish? Will somebody
That's for the commentator's curse, you jerk.
It only took 89 laps for that to happen, right?
Man, it was exciting though. I mean, what a great ending. And I mean, and these guys were like bumper to bumper,
there was
quarter panel to quarter panel, and I mean, it was phenomenal to watch.
I was somewhat amazed that at New Hampshire, which is a notoriously difficult track to run, there were as few of cautions that weren't caused by people just getting aggressive. It was, for the most part, it was just, you know what, damn good racing that caused it.
Well,
and I can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
a lot of improved drivers too. I mean, there showed a ton of improvement in several drivers last night over what they had been doing, and that was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was just some of them were they just gunned it just a little bit too hard in the corner coming out and self spin. But I mean, there was nobody that put anybody else really in danger. Not, I wouldn't say intentional wrecking, but no blatant just like lost control of it, so I mean, it was great racing all night long. I mean, like you said, we got like two long runs in there that took up most of the race, and then just a few filler cautions there that Josh didn't want to see at the end.
No.
I sent Dave mailed him my Rift S, so he's gonna get to try that out next week. So looking forward to him getting that and seeing how that does for him.
Yeah, I may have promised him that I was going to test to see if his graphics card would work. Yeah, I'm still going to do it because the laptop that I need to do it is one that I need to set up for work anyway. But I'm a huge fan of VR in comparison to triples. I've run both. For me, it's the less distractions from the outside world when you're in VR because, well, quite literally, you can only see the screen that's attached to your face.
That's a benefit for me.
And the only time I remember that I'm not actually in a car is when my cat decides to ram my leg waiting for food at 9 p.m.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I'm torn. Like, I love both. I recently swapped back to the triples to see how the new video card would handle it, and I got to put back up on the screen a lot of different things that I got tools and analyzers that I wasn't able to do in VR, so I missed. So I don't know. I'm gonna run triples for a little bit, see how I like it, and I always have the Reverb G2 laying around to go back to in a moment's notice if I want to switch back to it. But I tell you what, I really do like the G2 compared to the Quest 2. So there was a huge step up in the field of view and the quality of the graphics in it. I think that was massive difference between the two.
Between that and the Quest 2, I thought the graphics would be a little more vivid than they are. I mean, it is definitely an improvement, no doubt. It's just so much more comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. I ended up getting a different head strap for my Quest 2 that had like a gear knob in the back that would tighten and loosen, so it would make it adjustments easier because the Quest 2's original straps just suck. And but yeah, the visuals on the G2 was a lot nicer, and everything was just smoother on it. I mean, even if you try to put the Quest 2 in the 120 hertz mode, so you get 120 frames per second over the 90 that it defaults with that the G2 has, the G2 just felt nicer and smoother overall compared to the Quest 2.
Yeah, I kept my Quest 2 just for playing Beat Saber and stuff like that.
But,
yeah, I can't count the number of times that Beat Saber has caused me to almost yank cables out of my computer. But like me, I'm still using the original HTC Vive, and that's just because I'm too cheap to buy a new one at this point. And I'll admit, I've thought about upgrading, but I haven't really had an issue. And the one that I want's not in stock.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, the Vive is still a really good option out there too. I mean, only reason why I bought the G2 is because it dropped $200 on sale for like a day and a half or so, and luckily I saw that on the forums and was able to spread the word. And quite a few people in the AOL went out and bought the
I was
G2.
going to say that's why Carl has it.
Yep.
Me, Kevin, both got it. I think Dan, is thinking about possibly buying Randy's Quest.
I think Juice just went out and got the G2. He's loving it, so he's trying to make a comeback. I know he keeps messaging me out of the blue here and there, asking questions about everything, because he just went on. I mean, he just did a huge, massive upgrade. I think the only thing stopping him is still his internet service. It's killing him, but he went out, got an AccuForce V2 and the whole entire setup for a really good deal. I wish I could have got the deal that he got, because he's got the button box that came along with it. So he's got all the buttons and dials on the side of the wheel and everything. So he's got the toggle switches. I mean, he's got a full setup for less than I paid for my full setup. So I can't wait to see Juice back on the track, because I know last year when he was on the track, he was a force to be reckoned with. But so we're coming towards the end. Let's start talking about the Cup Series. So Cup Series this weekend is the cutoff race at Bristol. So we're going to be going in there. 16 people are entering, and only 12 people can actually come out for it. So what's your outlook there for you, Ed?
Well, after I realized, I was pretty bummed out when I looked at the standings, because I missed Darlington and I was last, and then I realized, wait, I didn't get my provisional, so it put me in 12th now. So I am 3 points above Kevin, 10 points above William. If I'm reading it, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
10 points above
right.
Kevin. I'm 10 above Kevin, and 12 above William. So I gotta have a solid race.
I was gonna say when we were talking about bringing you on, I was just like, look, Ed is on the positive side of everything that we have going here, but from 12th down to 15th, 15th, it's very small spread. We're talking 13 points.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean that 12th spot is really it's could be anybody's. I mean, especially at Bristol. Practiced it last night and love what they've done with it. I mean, that bottom groove has good grip. I just got I was about, I don't know, a half to 3/4 of a second off of the leaders in practice.
You mean me? You mean me?
Wait. Adam was the leader in practice?
Yeah.
Did only 4 people show up?
6, buddy. 6.
There were 6.
6. And before Justin got in there, I was almost a 10th ahead of everybody until Justin Rudden came in and kind of cut a little gap right there. So I will take that in stride for once being the fastest in a 6-person practice.
If you can just stay out of trouble at Bristol, you're going to have a decent finish.
Yeah,
but that's a pretty big if. depending on where you start.
Yeah, I'm hoping everybody, kind of settles in and knows it's a long haul race. I mean, it's a really rhythm-based track there, and you kind of gotta be able to hit it. I mean, I ran 250, 60, 70, something like that on Tuesday night there, and tires fall off, and that upper lane starts to come in, and that's kind of where it's king. And tire wear is prevalent, so yeah, you can have fast laps. Like I somehow managed. I couldn't replicate it, so it was a one-off lap for me. But I'm more concerned now about those 20, 30, 40, 50 lap stints.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be. I mean, I like Bristol. That's another track that I like. I like to run. Because you got to have a little touch, and those seem to suit me a little better. So
Yeah, I'm hoping, like
we'll see.
Joe said, hopefully we're gonna have a large field on Sunday nights. I'm hoping we get, between the average of 25, 30, like, we were getting before at Bristol. So, I mean, that will play huge into where you finish at that for the point spread. And, it makes it more challenging of race overall, too, for Bristol, trying to get that many cars out there on that track, especially if we get some really long green flag runs, trying to drive through the field, past the lap traffic and all that good stuff.
I think it's going to be, the usual culprits will be up front, and we'll be chasing them. Like I said, just want to keep four fenders on it, and not go through those fast repairs.
That one fast repair.
Yeah, you're right. That's right, Cup. I don't know if y'all just saw the end of the
Oh my
Xfinity
God,
race.
that was
Is that
absolutely
insane?
brilliant.
I think they just wrecked half the field crossing the start finish line.
Oh my God, the fact that the leaders were probably at about 45 degrees coming across the line, that was just beautiful.
It sounds like a AOL Darlington or Martinsville start there. Or not AOL,
No,
IBRL.
that was a finish.
Oh, that was a finish?
Oh yeah, they went green, white, checker, and whoo. There was I'm hoping from the broadcast booth, that's the kind of thing that we get to see on Sunday coming to the finish. But we probably won't, because we're a little bit more of gentlemen than these guys are.
Yep. Yeah, we're not making a living.
I don't know. Ed's going to dump somebody so he can make it in that 12th spot. I know it. Ed's going to do it.
I mean, let me tell you, who's 11th?
I was going to say the people that need to watch out, we've got Kevin Pearson, William Klingbill, Don Warnke, and Jason Swan that need to be worried about Ed right now.
Well, and I'm only 3 behind Tim and Brandon.
If you're allowed to take him out, I encourage it.
Tim or Brandon?
Him.
I couldn't do that. I could never do it.
And I hopefully if Tim's watching or listens to this later, I'm kidding, Tim.
Wink if you're not. He can't watch it when he's listening to it back on Spotify.
Yeah. Tim's actually one of my favorite people to run with, and he has my full respect, and I'll mess with Tim every day because Tim will do the same thing to me.
Justin said if there was real money on the line, you can tell Mr. Clinton that his chances would end up in a cloud of smoke.
Just don't get anywhere near Carl if you are running any kind of orange.
No, that's why I haven't put much orange on the car. I used to do that, but I thought, that might just piss the wrong people off. And I'm sure I'll bring
Ohio
it out.
native, and I couldn't care less.
Well, I guess I'll run orange for you. I'll do my Whataburger car this weekend.
It's on my ARCA car. It's not a Clemson car. It's the I can't think of the beer. Shock Top.
Yep. I've seen that a few times when you guys come out and practice with us.
That's always fun too. But I mean, gosh, you look the chase from top to bottom right now, 75 points.
I mean, it's a tight spread for this 3 race right here. So it's going to be, you got to have a good night. I mean, I somewhat like the IVRL by putting in stages, having stage points, because it puts a little bit more strategy into it versus please say I survived the race and I could move on. Whereas like you have to, compete the whole entire race because you want to get those stage points because they're valuable in these playoff races. So, that's
Big time.
throws another little monkey wrench into it. Whereas this Sunday, it's I just know I have to finish in front of these 4 people and I should make it through, which is still a hard chore to do if there's a large field that kind of throws a monkey wrench into it.
I'm just glad I didn't miss the chase by 1 point this year. That was heartbreaking last year.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to come through and make it into everything after all the moving around and having to go back and forth between here and North Carolina, and I was able to be able to make them in because I look forward to be competing. I know I won't be in the top 4, but I'm hoping to get through at least the round of 12 and maybe the round of 8 in each league I go into.
Yeah, honestly,
my entire goal for this year was to make the chase for the Sportsman. I have officially completed that. Okay, I'm lying. I wanted the Turtle Lamp.
Yes, we've heard it all year long from the get-go that you're after the Turtle Lamp. You can't deny that. It's on the air. We've been recording this forever.
No, the Sportsman though, like that one actually, just because again, what I'm running with these guys. I'm running with Ed and all of the originals from the league. That one just makes me happy because it just makes me feel, you know what, like I belong with these guys.
Oh, you definitely do. That's been one of the neat things is the new guys coming in. It's just, I mean, it's so fun. I mean, I love racing with the old guys, but I've loved meeting all the new guys too.
And then you kind of like etching your legend, your story within this large, massive field that's going on for future generations. So you'll have the next Blake Gordons that'll be coming through, and we'll be the Eds of the series, and we'll see the next generation come through in the next 5, 10, 15 years. If I'm still racing here, if my wife lets me.
Now I'm going to rub it in. Fresh pound cake out of the oven.
God. My wife's just knitting right now, so granted, she's knitting a C3PO pillow to go on our new couch, which goes to show the level of nerd that both of us are.
Dedication.
That was awesome.
So,
granted, I'm the one that started the pillow, but she's way better at it than me.
Justin says you do great if you could only pit.
I'm aware that is my Achilles heel. If you saw me in practice on yesterday, I seriously did at least 10 reps of entering pit lane.
I like Joe's idea. I forgot. He was talking about it after his fuel fiasco for all these wonderful suggestions is somehow mimic a 50% tire wear or something to that effect so that you can go out and put scuffed tires on and go around and do tire runs when you're late in it, because most people go out, run 10 laps at the most, and then continue to practice, or they'll go out with on fresh tires and like, okay, I'm pitting now. And that's not the same as having a, full fuel run of tires wear on it and trying to pit at the same time.
Oh, I don't run the Stin analyzer, but Carl does. And while we're in practice, he'll throw up, okay, this is the order for 10 laps and then 15 laps. And then once you hit 20, you're lucky to find 3 people.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's part of the reason why. Okay, Carl murders me in long run. I have yet to figure out why, how. But there's just something about that guy that is just amazing on long runs.
He keeps hiding from us. What are you hiding?
My wife wants to walk by. She doesn't want to be on camera.
It's all right. My wife doesn't do it either. So
She doesn't want to be on camera.
I get it.
As long as she keeps bringing me pound cake, I'll block that sucker.
Yep.
No, but when you're talking about pits, man, I can't tell you how many races that is. I mean, I go in right behind somebody, and next thing you know, I'm 8 seconds behind them on the track because I screwed up, just too slow going in, and that's usually it. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna practice.
I follow people in, and then I end up getting speeding penalties because they brake really frickin' early.
I drove in like a Nancy. He drove in like a superhero, and he gets mad at me because he sped on pit road.
Well, I won't call any names, but I was going in the pits, and I was like 8 seconds ahead of the guy behind me, and he caught me at the entrance to pit road. Actually caught and passed me as we entered pit road, and I thought I didn't realize how much I was killing myself until that happened. I was like, oh my god, I just gave up 8 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like luck of the draw sometimes too, just on regular yellow flag pit stops. Because I don't know, in IVRL we would do underneath the stages. I'd come in and then I'd come out two spots ahead of people around me, and they're like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "I just pitted. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I gained 2 spots when we're all running the same speed down pit road." So sometimes it's luck of the draw where you can kind of jump out in front of them. Iracing says you get a 13.9, but this guy's going to get a 14.3. I don't understand how they justify those pit times.
It's all about how you actually put yourself into the pits, where you stop, and how centered you are, and how straight you are.
Oh, I never noticed they were different.
Yeah, sometimes you go in your pit stops are different times. It's not every one of them are the exact same pit stops ever. So,
yeah, it's one of the big things I learned when I switched to DRE is it'll tell you stopped or perfect, to where the fact that it actually started calling out perfect, I started to learn in comparison to the lollipop and where specifically I need to be in terms of left or right, that okay, this is where I need to be.
Great. Now that's just more stuff I got to practice.
Yeah. Me and
Kill-
pit stops,
killing me,
there's just like
Smalls.
5 variables that end up screwing me every race.
yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to Sunday at Bristol. I'm hoping that it's a good, clean race throughout it. We get some long green flag runs to actually let the tires actually make a huge difference. Because I found out on Tuesday night, they make a huge killing difference, especially even if you try a different strategy. On Tuesday night, I pitted with like a little over 90 laps to go, and I knew that I could make it to the end, and nobody else pitted. I had like 10 lap newer tires. I was able to drive up through the field slowly because I didn't want to burn my stuff out, knowing I was going to have to do a full fuel run, whereas everybody else was going to have to pit. So I didn't want to burn my stuff up too quickly. And these guys pitted and still came back on me and got 2 laps back and passed me. So, tires make a huge difference. I thought I was going to come home with a second place because once everybody pitted, I was sitting in second, about 1 second back behind Joseph Causey. And I was like, man, I got this in the bag. We got 20 laps to go. There, people were still 2 laps down, and then people started passing me. And I was like, all right, cool. We got 10 laps to go. They started passing me again. I was like, crap, I don't know if I'm going to get this one. And no, I didn't. I came home 5th. So I had 3 people with fresh tires come up and pass. So yeah, it's tires make a huge deal at Bristol.
Duly noted.
That's if we get those runs, and please, everyone, give us those runs.
Yeah, because that was a huge different strategy. I mean, if I would have pitted, because I finally caught the guy that won the race and he pitted. If I would have pitted with him, I used fresh tires to get to the front, and then that they didn't have. And if I would have pitted with him, I could at least, if I didn't beat him, I could have at least got second or third. I finished in a podium spot instead of being in fifth, because I would be able to get my 2 laps back. But if there was a caution that came out, it would have been in favor for me and Causey, because me and him were the only 2 on the lead lap at the time for the longest time. So, all right, and then as we get to 10:15 for everybody on the East Coast, we're coming to the end of the segment, and we're going to go to our fancy talking of who's going to win the race there, Ed.
Which one? Bristol?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, since he paid me $20, I'm going to say Joe.
Oh man, admin sticking together there.
No, Joe is just. I mean, he, like you guys said earlier, man. He has really been putting some good runs together. Man, throw a blanket over those top 5, top 6. I mean, any of those guys could win it, but just got a good feeling about Joe.
Can't really argue that one, but I'm gonna do it just because I want to give him the commentator's curse. I got Justin Anderson.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, he's gonna be cussing you.
That's just normal.
I'm gonna go. We'll stick with this theme of still horse racing here. I'm gonna go with a different one of my team members. I'm gonna go with Greg Wellen. I picked him last week, but he said fucker. But I'm gonna go with my other one. Greg Wellen, he's really good at tire conservation. The man's out there putting a killing on whenever we have these long green flag runs, and is able to put together some some good tire savings. So if Greg Wellen shows up, that's who I'm gonna go with. It's going to be a still horse racing pick from what the broadcast or the podcast here says.
I mean, it's unfortunately a very safe bet.
Oh well, hey Ed, we appreciate you coming.
We don't have Carl to sit here and pick Blake.
Yeah, we don't have him on here because that's who he would have picked.
Another good.
Oh yeah, it's again everybody that's been picked. You know what? It's a 25% with everybody that's been picked,
except for one idiot picked me.
Well,
I was like, what is he thinking?
He picked you to come on the show because you're awesome.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. I do enjoy being on here, and appreciate what you guys do every week. That's a lot of work.
It's also a lot of fun, and again, it's the reason why I could be running with you guys, but it's actually way more fun to be in the booth on Sundays because it's a great product, and you know what? I get to sit there and nitpick you guys.
And knit.
Well, sometimes.
Oh man, yeah, it's a blast. We love broadcasting for everybody. It's a great time to get out there and showcase it. I never thought we'd get to five different broadcasts every single week now, and whenever me and Larry thought this up last year after doing it here and there for the Cup Series and then Thursday nights. We never thought it would get this far, and our future of 2022 is on the horizon. We're starting to think about what's 2022's got to offer for us. So it's going to be a great time seeing what that's going to have for us.
Yeah, 2022 is going to be even better.
Yeah, so we love doing it, and it's a lot of work on the back end to make sure everything runs smoothly and trying to get everything. But we love it, and then we love having this podcast, and we love when people actually come out and interact with it. And you got to cover the camera again, I think. She just opened the door.
I was going to say, see something on the side there. The only thing that we have to worry about is Adam's not allowed to broadcast on Monday nights.
Monday nights. The Fuel Racing League and me broadcasting, actually being the production manager, does not go together at all. I don't understand.
I'm gonna stick with the only two differences between our computers is you have a better processor than me, and you also have better RAM than me, and yet somehow my computer deals with it better.
I don't know. It could have been two gigantic flukes back to back, but I don't know. But it's always fun. It's fun to be able to build this brand and go out there and be able to broadcast for all these talented racers that are out there week in and week out. That includes you. You're a talented racer, Ed.
Yeah, thank you.
You're in the chase in both, so that's a lot more to say than someone like Nick.
Where is Nick?
He was on for a little bit. For the first segment, he didn't race in or had no really participation in, and then had to leave.
And has he been? I mean, he's been missing some races too. Is he going to be back, or is he going to be in the chase?
He's another one that I'm going to have been giving a certain level of shit to make sure that he shows up.
I hope so. I mean, he earned it. Needs to be there for it.
And I mean, at least the first round of the chase for Sportsman kind of falls into his lap because he gets a super speedway, and I'm going to admit this one time and never again, he's damn good on a super speedway.
He does well.
And you will never hear me say that again.
All right. Hey, well, we appreciate you coming on, Ed, tonight, and we'll
Thanks,
see you
guys.
on Sunday night.
All right. Take care. Have a good weekend. See you
See
Sunday.
you, sir.
Go Tiger.
All righty. Well, hey, that's the end of the show. Come out Sunday night. Watch the AOL Cup Series. We'll have wonderful Josh Laston and Hot Carl Henderson out there broadcasting from Bristol Motor Speedway. We're going to have a Bristol night race with these guys. They're going to put on a fantastic show. We're going to have the playoff cutoff race for the round of 12. See who within the top 16 will make it to the top 12.
And we're definitely the live scoring tool that Carl put together is going to be up at all times so everyone can see how things are going to shake out. And you know what? I quite literally have no guess because everybody that's close to the cut line, they're all fantastic racers. Some of them have bad luck, and
that's all it takes.
Bristol is the epitome of a bad luck track.
Yeah, anything can happen at Bristol, especially if we get a large field. You could finish, 16th and still not make the chase, or you can finish 12th, where you should be able to go forward. But if the one person in front of you gets up there and runs top 5, top 3, or wins the race, you're out of it. So I mean, there's a lot of different variables. Nobody's really safe there. I mean, there's a lot of spots that could be dropped. So it's going to be a great race to go out there and see. Then next Wednesday, we start our very first race in the playoffs for the Sportsman Series. Carl Henderson will be the one broadcasting for that one. And then next Thursday, we'll be back at Bristol. It'll be at least me and maybe Randy if he's not out there being a guitar hero.
We're hanging out with Pat Patterson.
Yeah,
because
hanging out with Pat
Lord
Patterson.
knows he had to come on tonight to at least show that
Rub his face in it.
He has dinner with other famous people.
Yeah, I'm having dinner by myself. And he's out there living life. So, yep, that'll do it here. That's a good way to end the show.
Really? You skipped something there.
No.
Where are we Tuesday?
Tuesday. Oh, yeah, Tuesday. The IVRL. We're going to be at Vegas because what stays in Vegas or what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm tired.
It also sounds like you really just don't want to run Vegas. And
it's not one of my strong tracks, but it's better than a short track. So I'll take that. I'll take a Vegas over Richmond any day. So
I'll agree with that statement. Every day of the week, sober, drunk,
so
asleep or not.
IVRL will be out there. That'll be Nick and Randy on the horn for that one. So be out there watching us. See how the first race of the round of 12 goes. The round of 16 wasn't that dramatic because two of the racers didn't race anymore. One of them fell out due to outside commitments with his kids, and the other person just did not show up for two races. So that was pretty easy going, round of 16 going to 12. But the next one, it's going to be a hard fought battle in VRL for the next, see who moves on to the round of 8. So come out there and watch us. Subscribe, like us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and now Twitter. So go out there and say hi to us. We try to start putting out a little bit more messages here and there. So on that note, from all of us at Ghostfire Media, you guys have a wonderful night. I'm Adam. That's Josh. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.